Peak Wealth Management proudly presents the Trust the Plan podcast with Nick Hopwood and Jim Pilat, where we believe by providing education and guidance, we can help you retire with peak confidence. Now, here are your certified financial planners, Nick and Jim.
Welcome everyone to episode 205 of the Trust the Plan podcast. I'm Nick Hopwood.
And I'm Jim Pilat.
And let's see, today we're talking about a Wall Street Journal article that we just read, talking about how joint bank accounts, right, for a marriage, right?
Mm-hmm.
So before you get married, you know, I have my account, you have yours, right? Paychecks come into each one.
Yeah.
And we get married, a lot of people just keep doing it that way, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the best practice is to combine your finances and cash flow and paychecks and everything.
Yeah.
So the headline says, people are more satisfied with their relationships overall, and they're on the same page with their money. And I believe it.
Absolutely. I believe it too. I'm actually always surprised how often we run into folks that still have his and hers accounts. And then maybe they have a joint one that they pay the bills out of. But to me, the thought of having, you know, a his and hers account, I mean, it just opens up the door for a lot of, slippage, right, in the budget.
For sure. And you know, distrust.
Yeah. Feeling like it's free money. Well, it's mine. It's free. I can do whatever I want with it. I feel like you're just letting a lot of opportunity slip away to do something positive with it and save or somehow invest or be on the same page together with it.
Yeah, I formulated my belief about this as a kid, because so my parents were divorced, and I'm sitting there at my dad's house, like in, I don't know, middle school, high school, and my stepmom would have like a sticky note on the refrigerator that says, "Hop owes me $25
Mm-hmm.
for like whatever." I'm like, how do you owe each other money?
Yeah.
Right? And because they had their
Mm-hmm.
banking separated. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it's my money and your money instead of ours.
Right.
And what was nice is that I was able to convince them to combine their banking, 20 years after that. You know, I don't remember how long ago that was, but I think that was nice for them. I think that if you ask them now, that they would say, yeah, that was a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it just seems ridiculous. Like, I owe my wife money, right?
Yeah. Right, because it really doesn't show you that you're on the same team, right? You should be on the same team. You should be working forward to the same goals. But like you said, if those the thoughts on money at that time aren't aligned, well, maybe in my mind I'm thinking we need to be saving for this next vacation, and my wife's out there thinking I need some new clothes. Right now I'm frustrated because she's spending all this money that we could be saving for this vacation. Like, you know what I mean? There's this.
Do I need to talk to her?
Yeah, let's bring her on.
She hasn't been on yet, right?
No, she hasn't.
So here's another story. This is, maybe 10 years ago at church. Our church has a marriage encounter. It's like a whole curriculum that you have to go through weekly, and then they'd have like a weekend retreat where they just bombard you with all this stuff.
Yeah.
And so I remember going through it as a youngster,
Mm-hmm.
but also I was asked to be the financial person to talk about on the weekend part, right?
Yeah.
And so I created this, hour-long presentation, and part of it was combining your bank, right? Well, the lady who was in charge of the class, she was like questioning me as we were like, we had a prep hour,
Mm-hmm.
like on Friday before the Saturday session, and she was like kind of hammering me on this topic. And so I was steadfast, right, and said, no, this is what we believe in, right?
Yeah.
You can do what you want, but I'm just telling you the best practice. And she didn't like it. So she was kind of peppering me. And in my mind, that just meant that she was resisting, right?
Yeah, she clearly had.
Clearly they had separate accounts, right?
Yeah,
and she's
sure.
like, what's wrong with that? Right? What's
Mhm.
wrong with this? It works for me, right?
Yeah.
And that's fine. Go for it. But I'm just telling you what the best practice is.
Mm-hmm.
And she never invited me back. So I'm not, I kind of feel like that was why.
Yeah.
I feel like that's why I wasn't invited back.
She didn't want to.
Maybe I'm not a good speaker, but, or maybe she didn't like me. I don't know. But that's my suspicion.
Yeah, she didn't want to be made to feel guilty again.
Yeah, right. I'm not here to make you feel guilty. I'm here to give you a tip, right?
Right.
Okay, so there's another article that was very similar in nature from the Wall Street Journal recently that says in your marriage, you need to have a CFO and a COO.
Mm-hmm.
And that, to me, struck a chord. It resonated, I should say, because that's how we do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my wife stays at home with the kids, and I work here,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm the CFO of the
Mm-hmm.
household, right? We have that joint bank account, but I'm the one who has all of the expense tracking set up,
Yeah.
the net worth tracking. I'm the one who pays the bills. I have everything auto pay and
Right.
set up in the bill pay system. She doesn't really have to think about anything money related unless I'm like pinging her like, hey, what the heck's going on with this
Mm-hmm.
this credit card
Right.
charge, But I think that she does a great job as the COO, right?
Mm-hmm.
Setting up all the kids' activities, coordinating with the school, the field trips, and getting them to school, and the after school activities, setting up vacations, right? Doing all that scheduling type stuff, and
Right.
I just have to show up,
Mm-hmm.
right? Tell me where I need to be,
Right.
and I'll show up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it works really good for us.
Yeah, it's not that uncommon from the other one where you have separate roles for this one, but it produces conversation, right? It produces opportunities to talk about these things and be on the same page with them. With the bank, if you're not on the same page, you're doing your own things, right? With this, you kind of have different roles, but it allows you to have those conversations. My wife and I all the time will have those conversations because our setup's similar to yours. But hey, who do we have to get where after school? It just provokes that conversation to be on the same page, even though each of us take a lead on the different aspects.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess that's a important distinction. With part one of this topic, we're talking about having your money together. It doesn't mean that you both are equally involved.
Mm-hmm.
It's just ours, but I'm going to take the lead, and I share with her. I say, hey, look, here's what's going on, right? And it's important that if someone's not going to take the lead, that they still understand. Because if I'm gone, she has to know where to pick up the slack, right?
Yep. Takes us back to the expense tracking episode a week or so
ago. That was a good one, man. I really like that one.
But that expense tracking sheet is a really, like you just said, when you showed it to her, I pictured you showing the expense tracking sheet, because that's what I do to my wife, Emily, right? And we say, look, here's what came in this month, here's what we spent. It was higher this month, it was lower this month. Whatever it is, it just allows you to have that conversation in 5 minutes and really kind of be on the same page.
Yeah, or the net worth, right? Where you're like, hey, look, it's been a great month. Look, check this out, right? Or it's been a bad month or a bad quarter.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have to cut back. Like in Big Daddy, Microsoft went down 2 points, and he smashes the soup can on the floor.
Right.
But if you want to go back and check out episode 203, it's probably our best one yet.
Yeah.
So check that out. And if you're not watching on YouTube, please check that out. youtube.com/peakwealthmgmt, and subscribe and follow and like us and share with your friends. We'd really love to grow our podcast following. And that's it for episode 205. Thank you so much.
Peak Wealth Management thanks you for watching and listening to the Trust the Plan podcast, featuring certified financial planners Nick Hopwood and Jim Pilat. If you enjoyed our program, please subscribe and share. If you'd like to learn more about our services, please visit peakwm.com. peakwm.com today. See you next week.